Hello, welcome to another episode of Test Chamber. I am your host today, Jeff Cork, joined today by my good buddies, Jeff Marchiafava.
Hey.
And on the controller sticks, Matthew Miller.
Hey, how's it going?
Doing great. So we're looking at Resogun, as you might imagine, and more specifically, we're looking at Resogun Heroes, which is the new downloadable update for the game. So walk us through, what are we looking at here, Miller?
I love Resogun. That's what I want to start with here.
All right.
And
he's on the record as saying he loves Resogun.
I really like Resogun, and I was really excited to hear that they had an expansion that was going to add a bunch of new content for free, even without buying Resogun Heroes.
But
wait. You're going to get the ship editor, which is pretty cool. You can see here it's going to pull up the most popular ships that have been created so far. It should surprise no one that the X-Wing is very popular, the TIE Fighter, Planet Express, Metal Gear Rex, all sorts of good stuff. And you can download these pretty much instantaneously and have a new ship for your fleet to fly around. If you want to fly around the Resogun world, is Flappy Bird right here.
No one wants to do that.
I don't think so either.
Or
but
that weird picture of Walter White. How is that even? Okay, whatever.
Well, there's Walter White. There he is. Now, you can also make your own.
Okay.
Check this out. Go in and you have all sorts of options for creating the ship. It won't let you make it bigger than it can be for what you need it to be for the game. And so this is a nice little fun little tool. It's not going to dramatically change the game, but you can set the different settings for your ship, right?
I was just going to ask about the different attributes.
And the speed and all that kind of stuff. The agility, I guess, is what they call it.
Do you have like a pool of so many points so you can't just max everything out?
So you can see over there agility, boost, overdrive, what kind of weapons it's going to use. It's going to use the Nemesis style weapons because each of the three original ships each had kind of different weapon styles.
Right.
So it's pretty rad. You also get the new local co-op, which would let people finally kind of play together on a couch, which I think is great.
Nice.
But the new expansion that just came out is what's going to get you the survival and demolition modes. So we're going to hop right into survival and take a look at that.
And those actually cost money, correct?
Yeah, I think it's $4.99 to get the Heroes expansion.
There's also a season pass.
Yeah, there's a season pass for like $7.99, and I don't know that they've detailed a great deal about what's going to be involved with that other than additional new content coming later. So.
Right.
That's pretty cool. It makes me excited that Resogun has the following that it does, that they're being able to do that kind of stuff.
All right, so don't blow it.
I'm going to try not to blow it.
So this is...
But it is survival, so I only have one life. So if I just blow up once, I'm out.
All right, that's not going to happen. And you said with this one, the survivors just kind of appear, like you might destroy a ship and one appears, one might parachute in from the sky. Or is that what's going on? Yep,
there's a dude right there. And I'm going to try to not die. There's another guy. And if I get enough of these guys, I'm going to get the first power-up. So this is a little bit different structure from the existing mode of the game that has been out there since release. You still have the kind of basic powers are very similar. And the signifiers on screen are mostly the same. But instead of collecting dudes and then taking them to a safe zone, you're actually trying to just find them and pick them up, and you immediately get them. And when you do, it counts towards up on the top left of the screen. You can see that there's a counter to get me to my next power-up, right? I haven't gotten any humans towards my next power-up yet, but I did just pick up the power-up that I got for getting to that first group. So that's good.
See, this looks like exactly what I want from Resogun kind of in the first place.
Yeah. I mean, people who haven't played a lot of Resogun, I think, wonder what all the fuss is about until you really dig into the game and understand how complex all these sort of like interlocking features of boost and overdrive and the different weapons that you can have, and how when you get your weapon upgrades, how that changes how you attack the enemies, understanding the AIs of all the different enemies and how they're going to move as they come at you. And so the survival mode, I think, is a really cool, like, it's not a major twist on the formula, but it is a fun new way to play for people who maybe haven't, who maybe have spent a lot of time digging into what is already out there.
Have you come across any new enemy types?
I think there are new enemy types, yeah. I'm not entirely sure. And for that matter, I played through a little bit of the classic kind of adventure mode last night, and it seemed like even that, like, it was maybe a little bit different than it had been, because they seemed like they reset the leaderboards, which says to me that the only reason you would do that is if you've changed enough stuff.
Sure.
Oh, I gotta go save this guy. He's gonna fall into an endless pit.
And are you penalized for missing any of the guys? Or?
No, it's not like that. I mean, it will tell you when you miss dudes, just like before, but it's not like the other game where, oh man, where you are, where you're literally like penalized, like, oh, you didn't collect all the guys on this level. It's more that the reason you would want to collect them all is because you don't want to be down when you don't want to miss dudes because they are going to be necessary to get the upgrades that you want us to be able to keep going.
Yes. And you have bosses and all that stuff too?
Nope, not that I've come across anyway. If there are bosses, they're further into the game, into the survival mode than I have reached. And I don't think that's the case, because I got into the top like 200 or 300 of the people who were playing on that first day last night, and which, by the way, no one should be impressed by, because it was just the first day.
I was just going to say that's impressive.
I'm still impressed.
But still, it was. I didn't come across any enemies, and I was playing for a long time. You do have plenty of times where. Oh
dear.
Things are
Finish
starting
that
to
thought,
get
Miller.
crazy.
Yeah, Miller.
You do
Tell
have
us a
plenty of
little more.
times. You're starting to say.
Hey, you do have plenty of times. But this is it's so great to try to talk while this is happening.
This is fantastic. I love it.
Oh, there's some dudes.
Oh,
I'll try to get him. I'm officially abandoning myself to being able to be intelligent as I speak right now. Oh, there's a guy.
all these humans being lost.
I know, lots of humans dying. Oh, another thing that's kind of neat that I like is they keep track of your previous best score,
Okay.
and when you surpass it, you get this special little bonus. It's this monument that sits out there taunting you until you pass it. So you can see right here, this is like this monument of my character.
Okay.
I'm 64% of the way there.
Oh, okay.
And once I get it, I'm going to get this cool little boost for a little while.
So it pays to suck the first couple times you play, right?
Well, maybe so. But it is this kind of reward system. And they're also going to show you sometimes like the dudes who are above and below you on the leaderboard, so you can kind of shatter their little monuments.
Is that just friends, people on that? Excuse me, I'm not even playing it. It's I'm hypnotized. Is it just people on your friends list or the?
No, it's like the whole leaderboard
Oh,
thing.
cool.
So to explain a little bit more about how the mode works before we hop out and show you guys the other major new mode is there are days. You see the lights kind of changing in the background. So that's actually like a daytime, nighttime thing. Where as the days pass, you need more and more humans before you can get your next power up. And so right now I need to get, I think, 6. It's kind of hard to look up right there, but it looks like I need 6. Whereas if you remember at the beginning, I only needed 3. And once I get them, it's going to pop me out a new power-up. But it's a reason to, like, very early on in the game to be really fastidious about getting as many of the humans as you can.
I'm impressed you're able to survive and say words like fastidious.
Yeah.
Good job, Miller.
Thanks. Do what I can. Things are getting crazy again. Oh, look at that thing. That thing's going to cause me no end of
It's
trouble.
not great. I have
See if
faith
I can
in you.
take it out.
Oh my God. Oh, Miller.
Oh,
That was it.
That was it. Not by any means my best game, but it gives you a little bit of idea of how the survival mode stuff works. So let's hop over and take a look at demolition mode.
Now this is a weird one.
This is totally weird, and I'm gonna fess up right from the start that I do not know how to do this well yet. I think it's the more experimental of the two new modes. what you're doing, you don't have access to any guns. Instead, when you press one of the buttons, you set off an explosion that sends this wrecking ball just shattering out through the world. And then you wait for it to recharge, and then you keep it going. Now this, of course, at first glance seems like, well, this is kind of dumb. What am I doing? Well, of course, enemies are now going to start showing up, which makes things way more complicated. And if I had my wrecking ball nearby, then I could maybe do something about all these guys.
And the wrecking ball will hurt you as well if you run
Exactly.
into it.
So I need to be careful of it and be sort of following it.
Oh my.
This is a nightmare.
Oh, it is, right? It's totally crazy. But what starts happening, I mean, the games are much shorter, at least until you start getting good at it. But you start getting multiple balls bouncing around, very much pinball-like, where you get 2 or 3 different wrecking balls all moving at the same time. You can also kind of aim if you hold down the button, which is helpful. And like that.
That seems like a good shot. Like you'd want to do that.
Yeah, and I got a supercharge, so that was a good thing right there. And
I
so
think you're
already
good.
that
This
one's
looks
doing pretty
insane.
well. But yeah, surviving for very long. Extra ball. That's good. So now I've got a second ball bouncing around. You can kind of see 2 wrecking balls back in the background there going crazy. Yeah, I quite... Whoa, what happened there? I quite like the experimental process of just kind of trying to figure this out, because they don't really give you any guidelines of like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to be successful at this mode? The expectation is just that you try to figure it out.
Yeah.
So taken as a whole, Resogun Heroes, I think, is a really cool little addition to the game. I mean, it's not super expensive, especially when you consider the fact that for most people, if you had PlayStation Plus in the first few months after the PS4 released, you got Resogun for free.
Yeah,
And so
exactly.
finally, you're going to pay for like $5 to get even more cool stuff out of the game. And that's pretty exciting. I think Resogun is a game that more people should play.
Yeah, it seems like they're kind of going in a direction like Geometry Wars did, where you have all these just crazy modes based on like the same, somewhat similar concept. And, like the Wrecking
Exactly.
Ball mode shows there's a lot of different directions you can take it. So
Yeah, and
pretty cool.
The adventure mode stuff still is what it was. Like I said, I think they've changed some stuff up, but now I can bring in new ships. That brings a new twist on how it was before. You can kind of experiment to find the perfect fit for your ship instead of just having the 3 originals.
excellent.
So everything about this game is something that is worth checking
So you still
out.
love it.
I still love it. I really do.
All right.
All right.
Well, thank you so much, Matt Miller. I do appreciate it. You stayed calm and collected.
I didn't scream too much.
No, we can edit that out. Don't worry. We've got tools. All right, and thanks for joining me, Jeff.
Yeah, I was mesmerized the entire time.
Excellent.
So.
Thanks for watching, and we'll talk at you again later.